This movie came out in '96, so they kind of grew up with these films. So, and what I like, let's kind of so she sort of, but what I love is the line where he says, "Name the killer in Friday the 13th," and she says, "It was Jason," and he's like, "Wrong answer." And he says, "It was Jason." She says, "It's Jason. I've seen that movie 3 goddamn times." And he says, "Well, if you've seen that movie so many times, you would know that it was Jason's mother who was the killer in Friday the 13th. Jason didn't show up till the sequel." And I was listening to the commentary by director Wes Craven, and he was talking about, think about, this, he knows his,
right.
He knows his
like
scary movie, yeah. And so, and what I like, and I like how it just the tensions builds, and like he says, she's like, and then she's like going, then she gets sort of like after that, she starts talking about, she gets really scared, her fear starts building up,
right,
and she says, she gets like, she says, she can remember at the beginning when he says, he's like, do you have a boyfriend? He asked her if she has a boyfriend, and she says, "No. Do you want to ask why? Do you want to ask me out?"
right.
Which never really says anything if it's a real boy. If she does have a boyfriend, and then she reveals where she says, when the tension grows higher and higher, she says, "I do have a boyfriend. His name is Steve, not me, but they took my name." And he's gonna, and he's big. He plays football, and he's gonna kick your ass. And or no, she says, it's not like that. It's more of, my boyfriend plays football. He's big, and he'll kick your ass. And,
right.
And then the ghost face says, "It wasn't Steve, is it?" And she's like, "Turn on the patio lights." So the tension builds,
Right.
and then you see him like taped to a chair. And he's like going, "Well, let's play." No.
And then he starts like the little like trivia game.
Right. Okay, yeah.
With Jason.
With the Jason stuff.
Just a little side, but before you heard that commentary, would you have gotten that question right, Steve?
I think because at the time, I have not seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th movies, so I would probably be like, no.
Yeah, I'd have gotten too.
Because I think probably, I've at this point now I've seen all of them, so I
sorry
to
get you off topic, Steve. I just wanted to.
Yeah, well, the thing is like I think when you see it, like we talk, when you see it when it came out when you were 8, there's something taboo, your comprehension of, this movie was something that I was like, it was tittillating. It was something.
Right.
It was like, ooh, not necessarily as it was a horror film, but as it was, this is all the big kids are watching. Why can't I watch what the big kids are watching?
Right.
Not even knowing the whole horror thing. But and what I like about the opening is I like how it builds, because listen, I think, did I already mention this? The voice kind of goes from like, "Hey, how's that?"
Oh yeah. And it gets more and more threatening.
And then more threatening, and then and I guess when she says, name, when he says name the it was Jason's mother.
Right.
So it was Jason's mother. It was Michael Myers. And
then he does like, "Guess what door I'm at?"
Guess what door I'm at. Okay. Right. And he's like, and she's like, "Front door," which is kind of like in when we get to Scream 4, he says the same thing.
Okay.
Because he says, "I'm in the closet," and she opens the closet and says, "Liar." He says, "I didn't tell you which closet," and then her friend across the street, it's closet. So it's one of those things. I mean, I've seen these movies, so
right.
I'm kind of giving more of a talk about it. But yeah, so now then we kind of see we get Sidney Prescott, and we see her typing on her computer. Her dad leaves, which is kind of a, kind of foreshadowing something.
Right.
And Billy shows up. So that's where we're at right now. Alrighty. So where we were left off was Billy was coming out of
her window.
Right.
Right.
And coming out of the window, and she's freaking terrified, and she's
Right.
like, but then he's like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And he drops the cellular phone, which she kind of says, this seems kind of, she kind of looks at him suspiciously, and she walks out and runs down the stairs.
Right.
And Dewey finds the mask, and it scares her. And then Dewey arrests Billy.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of, and that's where we sort of left off. So what was your kind of? Let's kind of go kind of, and then because because I like how she's terrified
Right.
throughout this whole ordeal. I mean ordeal, and so she goes to so Tatum shows up,
Right.
and then we find out that Dewey and Tatum
are brothers and
sisters,
right.
which kind of, when you kind of go into the sequels, like I think the fourth one or third one, they mention sort of like Dewey will mention something like this happened to my sister 10 years ago.
Okay.